So today we're going to do a permanent colour on Christine. We're actually going to do a regrowth colour today, but we're going to analyse Christine's hair needs and then make some decisions about that. So thank you very much for coming in to be a model for us today. We'll start off like we did before with the affinage colour chart, and we're looking at the top again to make some decisions about what existing colours Christine has in her hair and what she would like to do from here. So, as far as her base shade goes, it's always a little bit more complex when the client does have some white hair in there. So white hair, a lot of people call it grey, and they call it grey because it's a mix of the natural hair tone and of the white hair as well. But the white hair itself just means that there's no pigment left in that hair bulb there. And so it does look sort of grey when you sort of hold it and put it together like that. But her actual natural hair colour, I would say, is about a 5 level. And then we've got a variety of percentages of the white hair in there. So we'll have a look at that as part of the whole consultation and analysis. I have spoken to Christine about what she'd like to do, and at the moment she's thinking a sort of a warm coffee chocolate brown look, but putting some more depth back in without going too dark. Does that sound all right to you?
That's great, thank you.
No worries. So we'll do our thorough consultation. This is not a sort of a hair service where you would take a bit of a guess. It needs to be extremely accurate because the percentage of grey, the variation of colours through the mid-lengths, the ends, and the type of hair type that we're dealing with means that it's really quite a complex colour service. So let's start from the beginning. Her natural base shade we've decided is about a 5 here. Now what about the artificial base shade, Abby? What do you think?
So the artificial colour has several different tones in it as well, but I would say that it is lighter than her natural hair, not the white hair, her more natural hair.
Yep.
So to me it would be sitting around about a 6 level, then goes into a 7 level as it goes further down the hair shaft.
Yeah, so we've got sort of your natural 5 mixed with your non-melanin hair. Then you've got a 6 and a 7 as part of the artificial hair.
Yep.
So you've got natural colour and we've got the artificial colour here.
Correct.
And the whole objective is going to be to try and get that more like one colour and to be as blended as possible despite the fact there's a variety of different colours as it sits now. All right, so we'll write that down. So when you're doing your consultation with your client, again, go back to using your consultation sheet. Now, this isn't just so that we can have something written down. We do need the data, but what this does, it actually trains your mind. So within 6 to 12 months, you won't need to have your analysis sheet because automatically you will start going through that process in your mind about what you need to know about your client to make the correct colour decisions. But it's a great habit to get into at the beginning. So the artificial, we've gone 5 for the natural, artificial goes from a 6 and then to a 7. Now, again, it's important for us to understand the undertone behind this. So we've basically got a combination here. We've got hair that's red-orange undercoat, hair that's orange undercoat, and hair that's orange and yellow undercoat as well. So you've got 3 different levels that you're dealing with as far as undercoat goes. Just tick that off as well in here. All right, now hair condition. Let's have a little look at that. Normal, oily or dry? What do you reckon, Abby?
Yeah, I would say it's almost dry to normal.
Yeah, it's definitely normal through here, though you can feel that there's some resistance there. So the white hair is stronger, it's more resistant, and then just some dryness through the mid-lengths and ends.
Yep.
Okay. Now, porosity. We want to identify whether it's normal, resistant, porous or extremely porous. Again, it's a very complex head of hair, because I would say that you have a combination of many of these things here. Okay, so at the root area, Christine's got quite resistant white hair here. Then through the mid-length here, it is porous, and then on the ends, it is very porous. So we've really got everything in the one hair here.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the density there, Abby?
Yeah, so even though it has lots of curl to it or movement, that can be deceiving because it can make something look a lot bigger than what it actually is. So I would say she has medium density.
Yep.
However, when you first initially look at it, it can look like it's quite thick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And what about each individual hair? Would you say each individual hair is fine, medium or coarse?
I'd almost say coarse.
Mind you, it does change. So what happens is as you get more non-pigmented hair, the texture of your hair does change. So I find here with Christine's white hair, it's definitely more coarse. And then with the hair that's been coloured,
Softens up.
yeah, it softens up a little bit. It's probably more medium. So probably medium to coarse through here, and then quite coarse through the root areas here. So that's more just because of the things that it's had done to it to make it like that. Okay. And length, medium to long. And elasticity, that might change through the surface of the head as well. Find the white hairs. So I'm looking to see whether or not it's going to bounce back and whether it's going to curl up. Yeah, it's definitely lost some elasticity. It has got better elasticity closer to the root area. And not as much as you get to the ends, because you can see the changes in there.
Yeah.
So I think also you're happy to have the ends taken off today, aren't you, Christine? So that will make some sort of difference as well. But if we just allow, when we're deciding on the colour, allow for all of those variables in there, that will be helpful. Now, scalp condition, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, look from my side.
Yeah. I can't see any abrasions anywhere. The scalp's a nice pinkish colour, it looks in good condition. Yep, fantastic. All right, percentage of grey. Now this is quite interesting. Christine has got a variety of percentages and some quite interesting areas where there is no melanin. So around the front hairline, it's got a little bit more through here. But if we spin Christine around, and we have a look through the back section here, I'll part it with a comb, not with a comb there. Yeah. Okay. You'll notice there is an area here of very strong lack of pigmentation. It's just in one circular patch, and it only affects the portion of hair that is coming out of that circular patch. So you'll be able to see it looks really quite blonde there because of the lack of pigmentation just in that particular area.
Do you want me to zoom in just a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Have a look at the monitor and tell me what you
Oh yeah.
come out of it.
No, that's great.
No, that's really good.
So
Yes, you can really see it. Fantastic. Yeah. No, that's great. All right, we'll just whiz you back again. She can whiz herself around. All right. So percentage of grey. It does vary slightly throughout the head there, but through the front, it's probably more like 65, 70% there, and 50 through the rest of it. So we do have a combination to deal with here. Level of tone desired. Right, so what we have already discussed with Christine is the possibility of doing a 6.036, which is a dark chocolate blonde. So it's got a nice coffee, chocolate rich overtone to it, but it will also make sure that we get some depth in here, but not too dark. So enough depth there to give her some coverage of the white hair and then some richness as well. So we're just about to apply Christine's colour for her. It is quite different to doing our semi-permanent applications because there's many things to consider again. Right now, Abby's just putting on the product to make sure that Christine doesn't get her skin stained by the colour. Today she's using Paw, but you can use Vaseline, conditioner or a number of things as long as it's protective. The other trick is not to get that too much on the hair itself because that could block the hair from being coloured. And when you do want to cover white hair, it's really important that each hair is covered there. The main difference will be the actual sectioning technique that is used. It will be much finer sections, so she will still start with the primary and the secondary section, but then everything that she does from there on will be finer because the product itself is different. It's a thicker mix and it feels different going on, and it's really, really important that every single hair is covered because one hair that is not covered, having one white hair sticking out of a newly coloured hair isn't the best look.
I'm also going to use a finer brush because finer brush means a finer application and also a cleaner application. So you can see Jen is now cleaning the brush because it does look quite messy and it's kind of unprofessional as well. So we want to have clean brushes, clean sections, clean clients all the way through. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. The other very important thing here is that we are only going to use the permanent colour to do Christine's regrowth. So that is the section where her natural hair colour is exposed. After that, we have actually decided to go for a demi-permanent colour on the mid-lengths and ends. Now the main reason for this decision is based on the porosity and the condition of the hair lengths. So where the hair's growing through and it's natural, even though it's resistant, the hair is in good condition. So being in good condition, it will receive a permanent colour well. On the mid-lengths and the ends, the hair is quite porous through here and very porous here. If we put the permanent colour all the way through, what happens is, you know about the cuticle, the cortex and the medulla, the actual cuticle layers will sit out like this, and within a number of weeks, that permanent colour will actually come out of the hair, leaving it looking like it hasn't been well coloured. So the answer to that on hair, which has got quite a lot of porosity, is to use the demi-permanent colour because it doesn't swell the hair as much, and once it is inside the hair shaft, it will stay locked in for a longer period of time. So that's why we've made this decision about this colour, to get the most even result and to be best for the hair and what is going to last on the client longer.
Thanks.
Notice how thickly Abby is applying the product here. This is really, really important to apply a thick amount of product because of the coarseness of the hair. It needs that much product on it so that it's able to absorb it.
Just go to the left a little bit.
To my left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right
better.
there.
Yep. All right. Abby's on to the next quadrant on the front side, and the reason that she's working from the front is that you need to start in the whitest area first when you have non-pigmented hair. So starting at the greyest area first and then moving back. Whereas when we did the semi-permanent colour, the demi-permanent colour, we actually did it the other way.
It's also really important that we only apply the regrowth colour to where the regrowth is. So if your client has had a colour done 4 weeks ago, you would only need to colour a 4-week regrowth. So maybe like this. But because Christine has got lots of regrowth, we are really distributing that colour all the way down to where that next colour comes and meets the hair. So all the natural hair must be coloured. Now as you pull the hair down, just remember to cross-check your sections. So you want to be looking to make sure that everything is covered. Do you want me to turn it around? Yeah. And just turn to your left. Good. That's it. That was hard. So did I just do this side? Is that right there? Let's go to the right a little bit. Is it better? Left. Yeah. That's fine. Need more colour, Jen. So you can see now that we have completed the whole head in our spiderweb sectioning, very fine 1 to 2 millimeters, so no longer 1 centimeter sections. And what I'm going to do now is just go back through the hairline, because the hairline will tend to dry out. It was the first section that we applied, and I'm just going to softly feather it through to add that product back in there in case it does dry out. Because we know in the warmer climates, we definitely see this happen over time, and where the hair is more coarse or more resistant, it will absorb a lot more. So just softly feather through, and once I've done this, I will take off the gloves and tidy up the hairline with the cotton bud and that warm water just to remove any excess product, because permanent colour will stain. Perfect. So we're going to process this now for 40 minutes. After 20 minutes we will apply the end colour, but for the first 20 minutes we'll just check it, apply the end colour, and then 40 minutes. If it looks covered, then we will rinse it. Otherwise we can leave it for another 5 minutes to get that full 100% coverage. But perfect. See you soon. Okay, so now we're going to be applying the colour to the mid-length and ends. It's really important that we bring it up as far as that last colour, which should be all covered now, the regrowth area. And I'm again starting from the bottom because it just makes it a lot easier to put the hair down and have the next section land on top. When you start from the top and work your way down, it can get quite muddly and you're just constantly making a mess pretty much. So this is the easiest way, I find, to apply the mid-length and ends. So it's been processing now for 20 minutes, okay? We know that this end colour needs to process for also 25 minutes. 20 minutes. applied to all the mid-length and ends, and you've emulsified it, really milked it through. Just going to twist it up like we did with Jamie, and we're going to clip it on top. It just keeps it nice and neat, so it's not going to drip all over the clients whilst they're processing. So we're going to process this now for 20 minutes, and then we will check that regrowth area. I can already see, just take your head back for me, that way, can you zoom in a bit? Yeah. I can already see in here that it is taking really, really nicely. She's getting beautiful coverage. So can't wait to see the finished product, but yeah, really happy with how it's coming up. Whew, thank you. So
I'm just checking in a couple of spots. Very happy that this white hair through here has got good coverage, and that's the most important part, because the natural hair will cover pretty well anyway. It's just the white that you have to really check very, very carefully. Great job. Thank you. Thanks. So this is the finished result with Christine's hair. So we started off here and we had quite a big regrowth there, and the actual base colour was about a 5 in there, with 50% up to 70% in various places all over the scalp. Then at the back, you might remember there was an area that had no pigmentation at all, and then the mid-lengths and the ends were quite porous. So it was a big mix of things to do, but what we decided to do was to follow the affinage resistant grey hair procedure. So to do that, we actually mixed up 3/4 of our target shade and 1/4 of a double natural and put it on the root area. Whilst that was processing, 20 minutes later, so we were going for the full 40 minutes because that's what's recommended for resistant grey. After 20 minutes, we put a semi of the same colour and tone, but just in a demi-tone on tone colour, from the end of the regrowth area through to the ends, and then processed them both together. So it had a full 40 minutes altogether by the time the processing was completed. Now you'll notice the end result is extremely even. You would not know the difference based on the information that I just told you. You would not know that by looking at the end result. We have complete coverage throughout the head of the hair. Even at the back, I'll just get you to, yep, that's great. Through here, you'll see that it's completely an even result. So it's actually quite incredible to think of the outcome that's occurred based on what was there in the first place. And also because we've used the semi-permanent, it has a lot of shine all the way through. And if you went outside into the natural light, you would see multiple tones of chocolate in here as well. So thank you very much, Christine, for being the model, and thanks, Abby, for your fantastic application. And we'll see you again soon.
Thanks.